This is KTN Friday Briefing with Betty Kyallo.
Secrets from Westgate. Were Kenyans taken for a ride? Relief from ICC. Uhuru excused from continuous attendance.
It is the unanimous resolution of the Commission that the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary is hereby removed from office with immediate effect.
Judgment Day. Gladys Sholei fired by the JSC. Troubled man of God. Why TD Jakes is apologizing to Kenyans. It is only 3 days to the day since Kenya experienced the worst terror attack since the August 1998 bombing. And after in-depth investigations that began immediately after the terror attack, tonight we attempt to answer many of the questions that emerged in the wake of that siege. Did the siege really last for 4 days? Just who brought down 2 floors of the mall, and just who looted at Westgate? KTN Special Projects Editor John Alanamu takes you beyond the drama of the chilling CCTV footage to reveal the untruths, the half-truths, and the truth behind the brazen attack. That's coming your way in just about 45 minutes' time in your favorite investigative program, The Inside Story. And before then, we will have the top stories of the day. But lest you forget, former Bumula Member of Parliament Bifwoli Wakoli will also be joining us in a few minutes as our guest anchor. As you can see, he is already in studio getting all set for the big task. He's going to be joining us in just a short while. We begin in The Hague, where judges have in the last few hours ruled to excuse President Uhuru Kenyatta from continuous attendance of his trial. The judges decided by a majority to allow the president to attend only specific sessions, such as the opening of the case and the closing arguments. But as KTN's Joe Ageo reports, the judges say they will reserve the right to call the president if and when they find it necessary.
For the last 2 weeks, Kenya's diplomacy has been on overdrive, with top officials fighting to have the president excused from attending the Hague proceedings.
Circumstances different, absolutely, totally, completely different. Before, he wasn't the head of state of the Republic. Today, he is the head of state of the Republic. It's going to be the first time that a serving head is brought before any court of any kind, not just here, but anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world.
Indeed, Kenya's diplomacy saw the African Union pile even more pressure on the Hague-based court, giving an ultimatum to stop the proceedings against the president or have them withdraw en masse from the Rome Statute, the international treaty that created the ICC.
We have also adopted our decision speaking with one voice and sending a strong political message on Africa's relations with the ICC. We have agreed that no charge shall be commenced or continued before any international court or tribunal against any serving heads of state or government or anybody acting or entitled to act in such capacity during his or her term of office.
And up until now, the next movement was expected to come from the UN Security Council. But now, the Hague-based court appears to have complicated matters for Kenyan diplomats. In a ruling delivered earlier today, the judges agreed by a majority of 2-1 to allow President Kenyatta to attend the following sessions: the opening and closing statement of all parties and participants, the hearings where victims present their views, the delivery of judgment, and if applicable, the sentencing hearings, the delivery of sentencing, the victim impact hearings, and the reparations hearings. At the Security Council, Kenya was hoping to convince the 15 members that the president's continued absence during the trial could imperil the war on terrorism following the Westgate attack. It is now not clear what impact this latest ruling will have on the prospects of a deferral as requested by Kenya. President Kenyatta is accused of being an indirect co-perpetrator in the post-election violence that followed the disputed presidential election in 2007. He is charged with 5 counts of crimes against humanity, consisting of murder, deportation or forcible transfer, rape, persecution, and other inhumane acts. His trial is scheduled to begin on the 11th of November. Jogeo, KTN.
Now, following that ruling from the ICC, we ask, a big question tonight. Should President Uhuru Kenyatta now agree to attend his trial at The Hague? Should President Uhuru Kenyatta now agree to attend his trial at The Hague? Do text us a brief comment to the number 22155. And you can also tweet me at Betty Kyallo or at KTN Kenya, and we'll be glad to sample your views during this newscast. Now, back in the Kenyan courts, the judiciary wrangles have come to a head today with the sacking of Chief Registrar Gladys Bos-Sholei. The Judicial Service Commission announced it was firing Sholei over what it called insubordination and sideshows. But as KTN's Aaron Ocheng reports, Sholei has rubbished the move and is vowing to go to court to challenge it.
After weeks of push and pull in the judiciary over alleged malpractices by the Chief Registrar, it is now down to this. Gladys Bos-Sholei is fired.
And after in-depth interrogation of all issues, it is the unanimous resolution of the Commission that the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary is hereby removed from office with immediate effect for 1. Incompetence, 2. Misbehavior, 3. Violations of prescribed code of conduct for judicial officers, 4. Violation of Chapter 6 and Article 232 of the Constitution of Kenya.
Mutunga says the judiciary stands to lose 2.2 billion shillings from financial impropriety on which the allegations against Sholei are based. JSC claimed Sholei's responses were equivocal, evasive and contradictory. JSC statements further states that the price the commission has paid for such a drawn-out process has been what it calls deliberate disinformation, distortions and sideshows.
It has been a long, tortuous but necessary journey because JSC committed itself to a scrupulous and fair process to inquire into the matters of great public interest.
Sholei appeared before the JSC this morning and sought an adjournment of the proceedings to allow her to prepare her defense to countless allegations against her, but the JSC chaired by Chief Justice Willie Mutunga declined. Sholei wanted time to probe a number of emails emanating from the CJ, which she says proved that the decision to remove her from office was a foregone conclusion. Her lawyer Donald Kipkorir termed JSC as a clownish body. He said they had known all along that JSC wanted to dismiss his client. Korir says Sholei will have the last laugh. On September 9th, the Judicial Service Commission served the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary Gladys Sholei with 87 allegations touching on financial and human resources mismanagement, irregularities and illegalities in procurement and misbehavior. Sholei was given 21 days to respond and a further 18 days for oral submissions. Today's decision came just a day after Sholei tabled before a parliamentary committee documents pointing to hefty sitting allowances amounting to over 430 million shillings paid to members of the Judicial Service Commission. With the JSC insisting that the saga is over and Sholei promising to go to court, this long-running dispute may simply have entered a new phase. Aaron Ocheng, KTN.
Now, 4 people lost their lives, with 2 others being critically injured after intertribal fighting broke out in Wasorungai village in Baragoi. The injured are currently receiving treatment at the Kenyatta National Hospital after the Kenya Red Cross airlifted them from Baragoi District Hospital for surgery. Although security officers have not established the cause of the fighting, reports are blaming border tension between the Samburu and Turkana communities. Now, moving on, police in Mariakani have arrested a woman over the kidnapping of a 9-year-old boy in the area. Now, they also are looking for the main suspect, who is on the run. The suspect is said to have disappeared with the boy 2 weeks ago from Mariakani until he was found in Malaba yesterday. The boy's parents alerted the police over the issue and also forwarded a text message sent to them by a sister to the man who is alleged to be a pastor. The police arrested the woman who was staying with the boy after the pastor allegedly abandoned him there. Kaloleni OCPD David Kerina said the boy disappeared on the 6th of October together with a friend of his who is a class 3 pupil at Mariakani.
Akasimamisha pikipiki, tukalipa pesa, tukaenda hadi Weybridge. Weybridge kwa kuna magari ya Dubai, akasimamisha lori. Aliposimamisha lori, akalipa pesa, tukaingia ndani, tukaenda hadi kwa tunaenda Nairobi.
Such an unfortunate incident there. Well, we're just about to take a short commercial break, but before then, let's have a reminder to our big question tonight. And we are asking, following the ruling of the ICC, do you think President Uhuru Kenyatta should now agree to attend the trials at The Hague? Do send us a yes or no response with a brief comment to the number 22155. You can also tweet me at Betty Kyallo or at KTN Kenya, and I'll be glad to sample your views during this newscast. We take a short commercial break. Don't go away. When we come back, Bifwoli Wakoli is taking the hot seat. You do not want to miss that. Stay tuned. Just ahead. Wolves at Westgate. The lies, the half-truths, and the truth.
Leo wataenda nyumbani. Mimi nawakaribisha huko tuje tufanye kazi. Na niwaambie tu uondo tu, tafadhali ukipata nafasi ya kurudi nyumbani, kaa na sisi huko mzuri, kwa sababu ukirudi hapa kuna mambo mazuri serikali inatekeleza huko nje, wewe unakosa.
You are watching KTN Friday Briefing.
Welcome back to KTN Friday Briefing. Now, this is the time that things get interesting and heated up. In studio right now is former Bumula MP, Bifwoli Wakoli. Sylvester, great to see you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to KTN.
Thank you so much.
There's so many millions of Kenyans who are watching, and they're excited to see you finally.
I'm happy that I've come to KTN to greet Kenyans after going on leave.
I like that, after going on leave. Now, I mean, basically, Mheshimiwa, where have you been? What have you been up to?
I am just at home doing my business, farming, and looking after my animals. And also I have some little business in Bungoma. And also I come occasionally in Nairobi. I have a house, and my kids stay around, stay with them for a while. Then I go back to join my wife.
Oh, your lovely wife, Margaret.
Yeah.
Great. So right now you've relaxed, like you said. Now it's like you're on leave. You've gotten the chance to relax. I'm sure you did not have that, free time to relax back when you're in active politics.
It's quite. I discover now that it is a very refreshing moment after being in politics, conventional politics for 10 years. But I was in trade union politics for another 20 years. So I've been doing politics for the last 30 years without a break. Yes. I think I don't regret that I went on break.
All right, and what do you miss most about being in active politics? I know when you're in Parliament, you spoke about 1,308 times. That's quite a big number. So what is it that you miss about active politics?
What I miss is that to defend the human, the issues that affect you, the ordinary Kenyans, like the other day when they were passing the VIT bill.
Yes.
I found it that it was rather not very good, because the VIT bill, the government should have looked for other resources to cushion the tax rather than taxing the basic commodities.
Yes.
Because when you tax the basic commodities, it has some multiple effects to the so-called, the really basic Because if you are taxing petrol and put a lot of tax or whatever you call luxury commodities, the person who is dealing in the luxury business will definitely tax the ordinary manager to meet the cost.
Exactly. All right. Because we're talking about you being in politics and you missing politics, there's a clip that is, I think, kind of like a landmark statement that you made while you're in active politics. Maybe you can have that clip and we can talk about it. Do you remember that clip?
Yeah, I do.
So have you, because in that clip you were it's like you're very agitated, very angry. Maybe you can just tell us what was the background of that.
The reason was we were supposed as a PNU side to nominate members of parliament to join the East African National Assembly.
Yes.
But now the government at that time, and you know, His Excellency Vice President Mutawori came with a list of names and he didn't want us to discuss. He just wanted us to adopt it. But after doing what you saw, the government definitely retweeted and brought us the list that we had wanted.
Okay, that's good. You're just about to read that intro that you have probably been practicing for such some time now. But before then, there's something that probably many Kenyans do not know about you, that you were once at a seminary and studying to be a Catholic priest. Why did you decide to drop out just before you get to that story?
We have, it's a common among the seminarians that men are called and few are chosen. So I happen to be among those who are called by God to go and serve Him. But when the time of choosing, God decided to leave me, and I went home. There's nothing bad about it.
Exactly, there's nothing
but
bad.
I responded to the call of God, but when it came to choose the few, I was not amongst them.
But you were chosen to be a great leader.
Precisely, God had a purpose why I should come out of the seminary, maybe to serve Him in another capacity.
Great. All right, so now is the time that you steer this ship. We have your script there on your iPad, and you have the script there on the auto cue. You'll use this camera too, which is directly in front of you. If you can't follow it, you can go back to your script, but they'll take it slowly. So there it goes. Maybe you can introduce yourself and enjoy yourself.
I'm Honorable Wakoli Bifwoli, former Member of Parliament Bumula and the Assistant Minister for Lands. Let us now talk about football. A common phrase from local language has made the famous internet-based reference point, Wikipedia. The word Guinea Wakoli is now associated with the fans of Gor Mahia, who is breathed away from clinching the league. KTN Sharon Mumanye reports on phrase that is now famous across the world.
Guinea Wakoli, the phrase that has now become all too familiar to thousands of Kenyans on the social media. A phrase that ended up trending on Twitter and puzzling many who wondered just what it was about. So what does Guinea Wakoli really mean?
Guinea Wakoli inamaanisha ya kwamba hii kitu ni yetu, tushachukua. Kwa hivyo tuko na confidence ya kwamba tushachukua na ni yetu. Sasa tuko na maringo ya kwamba tushachukua.
Guinea Wakoli is used to show confidence.
Guinea Wakoli is a Luo word that means we have already taken this thing. And according to Gor Mahia fans, it was the ultimate declaration that the Tusker Premier League Cup was in their hold.
Guinea Waseka, it means obviously this thing we've taken. Bila shaka, hii mechi sisi ni fimbo chapa. Tutawachapa na tutachukua hii league.
Yeah, tunatumia kama sasa hivi tunatarajia Gor wachukue league. Sisi tunaona league inanukia. Sasa wakishachukua basi ni yetu.
Wednesday's match between Gor Mahia and Thika United, of which Gor actually took the win, further catapulted the word into virality. The team is currently top of the league with 50 points.
Obvious. We've seen because the only biggest load we had yesterday tulimaliza. Tulichapa Thika na unajua Thika inakuanga shida. Sasa hizi tumebaki na draw, Sofapaka utawachapa and then tunataka tu draw. So tushaanza kucelebrate kwa sababu milima tumemaliza, tuko na mteremko.
Kwa hivyo saizi nasema Guinea Waseka. Unaona? Saizi Gor imeshachukua hiyo.
The word trended on Twitter for over 24 hours, getting mentions from scores of fans and sports personalities. It is also the latest word in a vernacular Kenyan dialect to be published in Wikipedia. According to the website, the word's origin spans to the election period of 1992 in Kenya, where supporters of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, particularly the Luo community, believed they were going to win the elections. At the moment, with only 5 games left in the battle of supremacy in the Tusker Premier League, it remains to be seen whether after 18 years of waiting, Kyallo will indeed say with finality, Guinea Waseka. Sharon Mumanyi, KTN.
A story about Guinea Waseka. I think you did great. How do you think you fared?
I'm a teacher by profession. I think I've done well.
You have actually done well. Let's go back to a bit of politics. There's a by-election coming up, the Bungoma senatorial by-election. Are we going to be seeing your name on the ballot?
That question is being asked by almost everybody in Bungoma. There are those who are insisting that I run. There are others who are saying I don't run. And because of the pressure, even you read one of the daily news, one of the people, the newspaper people, the churchmen endorsed me as a senatorial candidate. I've told those who want to hear from me that I will be making a political statement on 28th. It will be on Sunday. And I'm going to say whether I'm running or not.
Okay.
And I think the Kenyans should be, or the Bungoma people should be patient and wait for my final statement.
Okay, perfect. We'll wait on that date. Now, just before we wind up, last year you declared, actually you were one of the first presidential, candidates to declare that you were going to run as the president of Kenya. I don't know what informed this decision.
Now, when I declared to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, people took as they thought I was joking, and that's why I'm not declaring the Bungoma seat. I'm not the first one, because when I declared, after a short while, there are quite a number of people from Western Province or Luyaland who also declared, like Honorable Moses Wetangula, Honorable Eugene Wamarwa, Cyrus Chirongo, Musalia Mudavadi, and the rest. We are so many. Then I wondered now, if all of us I want to be president, at that time, and I gave them chance, and they also fell on the way. So today, because of that experience, I don't want to see a crowded field and say now, the world will judge us as greedy fellows. I want to know how many people are interested, and the people of Bungoma want who. Because I went around the country. I went to Coast, I went to Nyeri, I went everywhere, and I got overwhelming support. It is true. There are colleagues, there are friends who have been calling me and saying, I disappointed them, but it was not my wish. It was because we were too many from one region.
I mean that was a brilliant move. Now it's time to go for business, and I want you to look into this camera and introduce our business anchor, Bonitunya.
Boni Tunya, business tutor. What is on the business, on the other side of the business world?
Right, many thanks, colleague, guest anchor Wakoli Bifwoli. Right, in business, before you even get to business, I must say you did really well. That handover was A-class. Now, coming up in business, Kenya tries to reclaim its position as a premier tourism destination. I have all the details. Stay tuned.
Reviving the tourism sector. Efforts in place to push up tourism numbers. Tweet of the day.
Hello and good evening. This is a Friday Briefing Business Beat. My name is Boni Tunya. Kenya wants to reclaim its place as a premier tourism destination, and now the government has revealed exactly how it plans to go about doing this great feat by diversifying into tourism products and its source market so as to attract more investors. But will this be enough? Adele Changole has the answers.
Once the crowning glory in Africa's tourism scene, but a series of crises saw the country's reputation hit rock bottom, which in turn reduced the number of tourists visiting the country to a trickle, costing Kenya its coveted crown. But now the country has begun an all-out offensive to restore its place as a premier tourism destination in the region. Speaking during the launch of the 3rd annual Magical Kenya Expo, the president said the government will be scaling up investments in the sector in order to attract up to 3 million tourists a year by 2017.
We have therefore resolved to expand our product range and improve the quality of facilities and services.
The initiative is part of the 5-year National Strategic Plan for the tourism industry that seeks to reposition the country as a high-value tourist destination, offering top-notch products with the focus being on conference and convention tourism. But even as the government plans gain speed, players in the sector have cautioned the state from merely focusing on the number of arrivals, saying the numbers can be misleading when used as a barometer for the tourism sector.
We've got to stop this obsession with numbers, and we've got to start saying what sort of quality of tourists we want.
The country's tourism sector has suffered a series of setbacks over the years thanks to the 2007 post-election violence and the subsequent global financial crisis, and more recently the fire incident at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and the Westgate terrorism attack. And now the government is banking on the 3rd annual Magical Kenya Travel Expo to turn back the dial and restore the country's place as the premier tourism destination in the region. Adele Changole, KTN Business.
Right, and Kenya has been named as a leading market for smartphones in sub-Saharan Africa, with Safaricom selling at least 37,000 smartphones monthly. This translates to an estimated 40% of all their 100,000 smartphone sales in Kenya market by this month. Now, this growth is attributed to a growing middle class that has increased the uptake of these types of phones, with Samsung smartphones witnessing double-digit growth. Now, this growing demand has seen the South Korean-based phone maker introduce yet another smartphone into the Kenyan market, the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, targeting the young, aspirational customers who value their sense of style and class with a crave for fast internet usage experience. Now, this new phone will retail at a whopping 75,000 Kenyan bob.
Growth in Africa. A lot of statistics suggest that there's about 42% growth year on year for smartphones, and I think Kenya is much ahead of the curve.
So far, our 3,000 sites that are riding on our 2G and 3G network have been improved to ensure that the experience of the customer will continue to be very high-end.
Now, I need to get out of your way so that you hit the weekend. So here's a look at the numbers on the Financial Market Review coming up. Right, that's just about all we had in business. I will see you again on Monday. But Betty, I was hoping Mheshimiwa would, announce his race for the Bungoma seat in your show.
Sorry, Bonishni, I can't hear you, but thank you very much for the day's business. Well, you are watching KTN Friday Briefing on this 18th day of October. Let's now take another look at the top story we are following tonight. After in-depth investigations that began immediately after the Westgate terror attack, tonight we attempt to answer many of the questions that emerge in the wake of that siege. Did that siege really take 4 days? Just who brought down 2 floors of the mall, and just who looted at Westgate? KTN Special Projects Editor John Alan Namu takes you beyond the drama of the chilling CCTV footage to reveal the untruths, the half-truths, and the truth behind the brazen attack. That's coming your way in just a few minutes in your favorite investigative program, The Inside Story. Now it's that time on the show that we learn how to pronounce some troublesome words correctly. And who better to teach us than Willis, the word master, straight from Kisumu County. Willis, good evening. Great to see you.
Good evening, Betty. Great to see you too. How is Nairobi?
We are doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Now let's get straight to it. You go to a restaurant and you ask for, say, chips, fish, and coleslaw or coleslaw.
Betty, the word that is the side dish is coleslaw. Coleslaw. Not coleslaw, coleslaw, and all that. Coleslaw.
Coleslaw. All right. Do we say, or is it right to say there are many entrepreneurs in Eastleigh or Eastleigh?
Betty, if you allow me, first we say Eastleigh. Eastleigh, not Eastleigh, the way most people find themselves pronouncing that word. Anyhow, we say entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, and Eastleigh, Eastleigh.
Oh, so you're starting there by correcting me. So it's entrepreneurs.
Yes, most people say entrepreneur locally, but the word is entrepreneur.
All right, Willis. Now, there are a set of words which give so many people problems, I think including me. Do we say should, could, would? Is that right to say, to pronounce those words like that?
No, you say should. Should. L is silent. Just like you say could, not could. Would, not would. So should is should, not should.
So the L is silent.
Yes.
All right. So does that also apply to words like calf? Do you say calf, like, the baby of a cow, or, half to mean, or half?
The young cow, Betty, we say calf. Calf. L is silent. So we don't say calf, we say calf. Just like half. Half, not half. And we talk about calm. Calm, not calm, has returned to Kisumu or Nairobi. No. Calm.
All right, I like the way you explain your words. Now, we have these other words that, earlier on in the week we were talking about it and you corrected me, and I'd want you to share this with so many Kenyans, that we pronounce. How do we pronounce the word southern or northern?
Well, northern is northern. But northern. We say southern. Southern.
Oh.
We have south but we don't say southern. That diphthong, the dual vowel glide, now disappears. We say sa, not sau, when it is southern. So we have words changing their forms for grammatical function, Betty. So sometimes the pronunciation also changes, just like we say maintain, but we don't say maintenance. We say maintenance, Betty.
All right. Finally, we have this word that, gives people a lot of problems. Is it adhere to or adhere to?
We say adhere, to adhere to. Adhere, very common, but a wrong way of pronouncing that word. Betty, one thing which is very common among us as non-native speakers of English language, there are certain words that we acquire either from our teachers at the lower level or the low levels of education, and then we use them without knowing that we are mispronouncing the word. So we say adhere, not adhere. There's no digraph in that word.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you. Thank you very much for your lesson tonight.
Thank you so much, Betty, and let me wish you luck and have a nice weekend.
All right, thank you very much. Well, you've heard it from Willis, the word must. And what better way to start your weekend by knowing how to pronounce those troublesome words. And that's it for this week's edition of Mind Your Language. Remember to keep those troublesome words coming through. Mind Your Language. That's a hashtag Mind Your Language. Or you can tweet me at Betty Kyallo. Right, so let me sample a number of text messages that are coming in regard to our big question. And some people here are saying, let me just sample one or two. Yes, President Uhuru Kenyatta should go to The Hague. Let him not listen to the African Union leaders telling him not to, cause some of them could be looking forward to his downfall. Another one here says, yes, the fear was initially that what would happen in the event that the president and his deputy are required at The Hague at the same time. ICC has now solved that issue. We'll sample more of your views as we proceed on. Let's now take a short commercial break. Sports is up next. Stay tuned.
Kenyan sprinters itching to debut at the World Relay Championships in Bahamas next year.
Let me say this very, very categorical, that there's something strange in this country, that we think that the way forward is confrontation. All the time. And that's why yesterday, after looking at various things and issues, my position is that dialogue is the answer to our problems.
You are watching KTN Friday Briefing.
Premier League match between Bunkers KCB and Holders Tusker takes center stage tomorrow. The Go TV Shield semi-final, the tie between Gor Mahia and Sony Sugar, is expected to be a crowd puller. Gor Mahia, who are seeking a double this season, hosts Sony Sugar in Kasarani from 4 p.m. Gor Mahia and Sony have bitter memories in the Premier League front. Their second leg match is set to be settled, but that will not be in Gor Mahia's mind at the moment. Theirs is crushing the Sugar Millers and moving on to the final, where they will meet the winner of the second semi-final set for Sunday between Sofapaka and AFC Leopards. The Leopards have not given up hope on the KPL title, but progression in the Shield tournament will still be welcome at the Den. 2 Premier League matches are scheduled for Sunday. Resurgent Bandari will be away to City Stars, while former champions Ulinzi Stars welcome Western Stima in Nakuru. On Monday, relegation candidates Homeboys entertains Thika United, while Mathare United will seek to dig themselves out of danger in Kasarani, where they host Mohoroni Youth. Now, the Wheelchair Basketball Federation has selected 12 players who will represent Kenya during the Africa Championships in Angola later this month. Elsewhere, MultiChoice joined other sponsors to the support of the 10th Sportsman of the Year Awards with a donation of 1.5 million shillings.
While handing over the check to Sawyer founder and IOC member Paul Tergat, multi-choice general manager for East Africa, Auka Gasheo, said the company will, over and above the donation, foot production costs for the 10th edition of the annual awards that recognizes the performance of the country's sportsmen and women. On the basketball court, wheelchair basketballers were out to impress a panel of selectors at the Nyali National Stadium during a selection match for the national team to the Africa Championships. Kenya will be sending a team of 12 players to the African Games in Angola that starts on the 24th of this month to the 3rd of November. And in boxing, 4 titles will be at stake on November the 30th in Nairobi. Osaga Promotions announced the rich lineup of bouts during which Fatuma Zarika will be taking on Natasha Soenka of the United States in a WIBA featherweight clash. Other titles to be competed for are the WIBA super welterweight, the lightweight, and the WIBA lightweight. Joshua Kimboy, KTN Sports Today.
For our news ender now, renowned American Bishop T.D. Jakes, the senior pastor of the Potter's House Church in Texas, has offered an apology to Kenyans. And if you're wondering why, here is KTN's Ian Wafula with the story of the power on Kenyans on Twitter.
I want you to know my car is paid for. I want you to know I got my house on my own. I want you to know I am not bling bling and I am not shaking bake. I had money when I came to Dallas and I plan to have some when I leave. You did not buy what I got.
For a world-renowned preacher, this may have passed as one of the many fiery sermons, save for this remark.
And the natives all over Kenya drink water because of this ministry. And the hospital in Nairobi survives because of this ministry. I do not need you.
And Kenyans on Twitter went on a frenzy within no time. T.D. Jakes was a trending topic, meaning one of the most talked about subjects on social media at the time.
And the natives all over Kenya drink water because of this ministry. And the hospital in Nairobi survives because of this ministry.
Most of the reactions seemed to be triggered by the word native and its context in the preaching. Jakes was speaking about a new docu-series titled Preachers of LA, which in its first episode was debating on financial contributions going into preachers' pockets. He apparently wanted to make sure his congregation knew that he is not using their financial contributions for personal gain.
I've been watching that junk on TV, and I want to tell you right now, not one dime of what you're sewing right now will buy my suit. I want you to know my car is paid for. I want you to know I got my house on my own. I want you to know I am not bling bling and I am not shaking bake. I had money when I came to Dallas.
After numerous concerns and complaints, T.D. Jakes offered an apology and clarification. An attempt in last Sunday's sermon to distinguish myself from an American television program has caused some offense in Kenya. For that, I apologize. The attempt was to highlight one well and one hospital wing in Kenya as an example of these ministries' worldwide efforts. It was by no means meant to take responsibility for an entire nation or to minimize the contributions of its people. The fact that these heartfelt words have been taken to mean anything other than their original intent deeply saddens me.
From LA, I'm from
and that, it appears, is the power of Kenyans on Twitter. Ian Wafula, KTN.
Thank you so much, Ian, for that. Let's now have a review of our big question tonight, and we had asked, following the ruling from the ICC, should President Uhuru Kenyatta now agree to attend his trial at The Hague? Following the ruling from the ICC, should President Uhuru Kenyatta now agree to attend his ruling at The Hague? And 53% say no, and 47% say yes. I'll sample one or two comments. President Uhuru Kenyatta should attend the ICC trial sessions because he is accused of atrocities against humanity and should clear his name through the court process. That is Henry. Another one here says the wish of the Kenyan majority is to be autonomously led by His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, so he should be given due respect. That is Dr. E. Waithaka from KU. Thank you very much for sending in your text messages and indeed for watching KTN Friday briefing. Before we wind up, let's have a bit of Mheshimiwa. How was the experience here? I hope you enjoyed it being in studio.
I did. I enjoyed it. It's nice being here. It's a good experience. Yeah.
All right, so before you go to Bungoma, what is your parting shot to Kenyans?
Before I go to Bungoma, I would wish to request to Kenyans to watch KTN.
I like that. For that, you'll definitely come back. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, for coming.
Thank you so much, Betty.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so that's where we wind up this edition of Friday Briefing. Thank you very much for watching, but be sure to stay tuned, as in a few minutes, John Alanamo will bring you the inside story, showing you what happened inside the Westgate Mall for 4 straight days. My name is Betty Kyallo. Have a good night.